Welcome everyone, this is AndresRestart, and today I wanted to have a simple little discussion on some of the most relaxing games on Nintendo Switch. They really come in so many different forms. In general, I would say people can find relaxation in all different types of video games. It really comes down to your own personal preference. For example, I could argue that I find Super Smash Bros. Ultimate relaxing. A game about fighting and duking it out, how is that relaxing? Well, personally for me, there are multiple times a week I will simply fire up Smash Brothers, jump into a quick match, and just duke it out with a computer, and that's fun to me, just focusing on the fight and nothing else in the world. From one perspective, it's relaxing to me because it's a moment where I don't have to think about anything else in the outside world. But also, unlike a whole bunch of other games where I need to kind of focus on building towards something, or finding something, or solving something, when I'm just in a match in Smash Brothers, it's simple. It's just a fight. That's it. I'm not building towards anything. I'm not needing to navigate towards anything. It's just the battle. And those moments where I can focus on just that singular moment, to me, are relaxing. But to many others, it may not be. After all, it's a fight, and fights aren't necessarily considered to be relaxing. But for the most part in this video, I am going to be talking about games that are probably considered to be relaxing for most people. And I got the idea to make this video today because recently Nintendo put out a new trailer for one of their upcoming games, Endless Ocean Luminous. And this particular trailer was the Sounds of the Sea trailer. And just looking at the game, seeing the underwater exploration, seeing the cool animals, listening to the serene sounds of the sea, it definitely makes me feel calm. It definitely gets me kind of excited about this experience that's coming out on May 2nd. I'm very interested in Endless Ocean Luminous. It's looking like a very calm, relaxing game where you don't have to be worried about this big threat. It's just, hey, go ahead and explore these underwater environments with your friends. It's chill, it's cool, and it's fun. But Endless Ocean Luminous, from what I understand, isn't the only game like this on Switch. Now, obviously, we haven't played this game yet, but from what we understand of the Endless Ocean series and what they've shown, there are some games that are similar. For example, Abzu. You can play this on Switch now. It's a beautiful game, even on Switch. It's super colorful, but it's also just a chill adventure in these underwater environments. It's something that I think would fit the description of what most people would find to be a more typical relaxing experience. And I just think there's something about these underwater exploration games in general when they employ these different effects of the sea, of water. And apparently there are studies that show that the sounds of water are inherently calming to us. The sounds of water can reduce our states of anxiety, it can produce senses of pleasure, and even reduce our heart rate. But with this emphasis on sound effects in mind, I would like to point out another game that many people may not have initially considered to be a relaxing experience, but in my opinion, very much is. And that's The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. Now, the reason I bring it up when talking about sound effects is because for The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, they actually created over 10,000 different sound effects to really build up this immersive experience as you explore around the world of Hyrule. When you're walking through these grassy fields, you can hear Link's different footsteps as it touches different types of the ground, and it sounds different each and every time, and you can tell when you're moving through the blades of grass, you can hear the wind, you hear the ambient sound effects, and those tunes that more appropriately fit nature. You hear the birds, you might hear a deer passing by. And while there may be moments in Breath of the Wild that certainly I wouldn't consider to be typically relaxing, like being chased by a guardian, but when you're just taking the time to explore the beautiful world of Hyrule and enjoying the sights and just taking it all in, it can be pretty peaceful. And I'll even say that when you get later into the game and you obtain a certain amount of power-ups and experience, even something like a guardian isn't really a threat. It's just, oh, okay, I'm gonna whack this thing, hear the cool little sound effects, see the little things bursting apart, exploding, and it's just kind of fun. Over the years, I've used Breath of the Wild as a game that I kind of just jump into and run around playing around the world of Hyrule. And there have been times I've jumped into that game when there have been some things going on in my life that I just kind of needed to forget about for a little while. And by extension, I think I should also mention the sequel to Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom. With the crafting involved, you can spend a lot of time building different things and seeing how it interacts with the world. Some people really enjoy just seeing how things come together. I'm one of those people, so I do enjoy that. But what I find even more enjoyable is taking one of your creations and just flying endlessly through the expansive, beautiful skies of Hyrule and Tears of the Kingdom. Seeing those sunsets, it makes me feel nice. Now, if I finish this video without bringing up this one particular game, I think I would be making a huge mistake. Because this is probably the most popular and likely to be considered one of the most relaxing games you can play on Nintendo Switch, and that is Animal Crossing New Horizons. The Animal Crossing series as a whole is a game that's about chill vibes, and just exploring your town, collecting bugs, catching fish, organizing your furniture, and talking to the different cool, fun NPCs of the world. If you've been following me for a while, you may have heard me mention before that Animal Crossing isn't my favorite Nintendo franchise, and that is true, it is not my favorite Nintendo franchise, but that doesn't mean I don't enjoy the game, I absolutely do. Whenever I'm actually playing the game, I find myself spending more time in there than I should, and that's really the personal problem for me. I start thinking about doing chores in real life as opposed to in the game. But that's just my own personality type. There are many people that just like to enjoy a more simplistic form of your day-to-day life in video games, which is one of the reasons why I think these farming simulator games are so popular. A game that I would say is fairly similar to Animal Crossing, so if you're a big fan of Animal Crossing and you haven't tried this game out, you definitely should, is Stardew Valley. Now, Stardew Valley does have its differences. It does have more farming going on than Animal Crossing, that's for sure. But beyond that, there's romance involved, there's a dungeon involved, there's a bit more exploration there. And I think that's one of the reasons why I enjoy Stardew Valley quite a fair bit, the extra adventuring and going through the mines and things of that nature. But overall, Stardew Valley is another one of those games, and probably one of the best at it in terms of just forgetting about the real world and living a more peaceful, calm life in this town of Stardew Valley. But you know, there's another game I started playing recently that also reminds me of Animal Crossing, but for very different reasons. And that's A Short Hike. A Short Hike, I would say, is more of a fun, peaceful adventure game. But as you play the game, you'll find that the characters are very Animal Crossing-like. The way you hear their cute little chibi sound effects as they talk, or even as you explore the shore side and you see little fish, it's very similar and you can go fishing in that way. I find the sense of humor to be quite similar too. But beyond the many little funny similarities to Animal Crossing, there's clearly an inspiration there. The game is just fun to play. The music is just a chill time, and the adventuring isn't stressful. It's just climbing and flying around, and it's a good time. It's also a very cheap game, so if you want to give it a try to get a fun escape for a few hours, I strongly recommend A Short Hike. Now, if I were to say what's my personal favorite, most relaxing game on Switch, I mean, that's definitely a tough call. I might say Breath of the Wild. Or maybe it'll be Endless Ocean Luminous when it comes out next month. But this game I'll mention here I think is definitely in the conversation. And that's Pokemon Legends Arceus. Now, Pokemon Legends Arceus is a mainline Pokemon game, but it's different from the other mainline games. It's more so focused about adventuring around and catching Pokemon. As you may be able to tell, I tend to lean more towards games that offer exploration. To me, moving about an environment, exploring, finding more, what's beyond that hill or rock, is more fun to me. But with Legends, it's also very calm. Unless you run into one of those alpha Pokemon, but otherwise, you can kind of just explore the environment, fly around or ride around on your Pokemon, and just throwing these different forms of Pokeballs at all these different types of creatures, and catching them and filling up your journal. To me, that's just a good time. I would argue it's one of the best overall concise gameplay loops we've seen in the Pokemon series. And I also think it's cool to just bring out your Pokemon and have them alongside of you. They're like pets to me, and I'm a big pet guy, so, you know, dogs, cats, Pokemon, I think they're cool. But those are some of the games that I find to be the most relaxing on Nintendo Switch. What kind of games do you find relaxing? Do you have other recommendations for people to try out that were not mentioned in this video? Please share in the comments below. Anyways everyone, this is AndresRestart. Thank you so much for listening and watching, and I'll see you all really soon. Take care. Bye.